Every year, over 80,000 motorcyclists are injured in crashes in the US alone. That's one every 6.5 minutes. And the majority of those crashes, they don't happen during insane high-speed stunts. They happen to regular riders doing regular things, on roads they've ridden 100 times before. So I decided to do something most people wouldn't. I sat down and analyzed 127 real motorcycle crashes, one by one. Not for shock value, not to point fingers, but to figure out exactly what went wrong, and more importantly, how to make sure it never happens to you. What I found were clear patterns, 5 major rider habits that led to crash after crash. And even more surprising, most of them are things you're probably doing right now without even knowing it. Stick around because in the video, I'll break down all habits and how to avoid them at all. Let's get into it. Number 1, build predictive awareness. Most riders think they'll be able to react in time, like when that car turns across your lane or gravel shows up mid-corner. But here's the brutal truth. If you're relying on your reaction time to save you, you're already too late. Reaction time is a backup plan, not a strategy. What I noticed in dozens of those crashes is that the rider never had a chance to react because they never saw it coming. Predictive awareness is what separates near misses from full-on accidents. It's about reading traffic patterns, anticipating risky behavior before it happens, and giving yourself space to escape before you're boxed in. This means scanning 2 or 3 vehicles ahead, watching for subtle cues, like a driver shifting in their lane or a van hiding a crosswalk. And most people think they're paying attention, but they're not actually processing risk in real time. I'll show you a quick way to train that in a moment, but first, you need to understand how this one shift can literally buy you seconds of extra decision-making time. And in a crash scenario, that's the difference between standing up and walking away or not. And by the way, one of the crashes that stuck with me the most, where everything looked fine until it wasn't, proves exactly how predictive awareness works in the real world. Number 2, practice mid-corner adjustments. Let me ask you something. Do you only corner like everything's going to go perfectly every single time? Because if so, I've got news for you. Real life isn't a racetrack, and corners don't care about your plan. One of the biggest things I saw in most crashes was this. Riders could handle the perfect line, but the moment something unexpected happened mid-corner, gravel, a slower car, a deer doing the cha-cha, they froze. Or worse, they panicked and made it worse. Riding smooth when everything's going right doesn't make you skilled. It just means you haven't been tested yet. The riders who stay upright when things go sideways are the ones who've practiced mid-corner corrections. Adjusting your body slightly, easing off the throttle, or trailing the brakes without upsetting the bike. That's the stuff that keeps you alive when the corner isn't textbook. And don't worry, I'm not talking about turning you into a MotoGP robot. I'm saying, if you've never practiced what-if scenarios inside a corner, you're gambling every time you ride. Number 3. Stop copying other riders' lines and speeds. Alright, this one's gonna sting a little. Stop copying your buddy's line like you're trying to cheat off his test. Seriously, I saw this over and over. One rider takes a sketchy line a bit too fast, and the guy behind just blindly follows him like he's got Google Maps in his leathers. And then, boom, off the road, into the gravel, or worse. So, just because someone in front of you made it through doesn't mean you will. You have a different skill level, different bike, different tires, maybe even different levels of caffeine that day. When you ride like a clone, you're giving up your judgment, your margin, and your ability to react. You're not in a group ride to prove you're a mindless missile. You're there to enjoy, learn, and survive. Ride your ride. And if your friend wants to send it into a decreasing radius corner at Mach 6, let them. You'll wave at them from the apex, on the line that actually makes sense. Now, let's talk about a part of the road most people completely ignore, until it throws them on the ground. Number 4, learn to decode road surface texture in real time. The road is talking to you all the time, But if you don't know how to read it, you're basically riding blindfolded at 60 miles per hour. Out of the crashes I studied, you'd be amazed how many came down to one simple thing. The rider didn't realize the surface had changed until their tires did. A shiny patch isn't just shiny. It could be oil, coolant, or Satan's personal banana peel. And that slightly darker strip on the curve? That's not just character. That's gravel waiting to send you flying like a stunt double. You have to train your eyes to decode texture in real time. Look for sheen, shade, surface joints, debris, even how the light bounces. It's not paranoia, it's prevention. Once you learn this, it becomes second nature, like your own sixth sense for traction. And let me tell you, a lot of these textures don't look dangerous until you're picking asphalt out of your jacket. Number 5, practice progressive braking. No, I'm not talking about people who didn't brake. I'm talking about people who did badly. See, most riders think braking is just about pulling the lever and hoping the laws of physics sort things out. But if you grab a fistful of front brake like you're trying to squeeze ketchup out of a bottle, the only thing you're going to squeeze out is traction. That's why progressive braking is everything. It means applying brake pressure gradually, like you're building up a conversation with your tire instead of yelling at it. Light at first, then firm, smooth, and controlled. This gives the front tire time to load, grip, and give you feedback. And trust me, this small detail is what separates the riders who stay upright from the ones surfing pavement. You've got to make this muscle memory. Practice it in parking lots, side roads, anywhere safe. Because when it counts, your instincts need to default to control, not panic. Number 6, avoid the mind-body freeze by building mental scripts. Picture this. You're mid-ride, everything's flowing, and then something goes wrong. A car edges into your lane, or there's gravel mid-corner, or a deer looks at you like you're the one in the wrong neighborhood. And what happens? Your brain hits the blue screen of death. Your hands forget what they're for, and you just freeze. That's what I call the mind-body shutdown, and I saw it all over the crash videos I analyzed. Riders who had enough time, enough space, and enough skill, but their brain couldn't access any of it when it mattered. Why? Because they never trained for it mentally. That's where mental scripts come in. These are preloaded responses to common threats, like, if I hit gravel mid-corner, I stay neutral, don't panic, and ride it out. It sounds simple, but this mental programming lets your body act while your brain is still catching up. You don't freeze because you already know what to do. Think of it like rehearsal for chaos. And trust me, the riders who stay calm in emergencies aren't braver. They're better prepared. Number 7, master low-speed control. Everyone wants to look fast, but the truth is, low-speed control is where you separate the posers from the pros. And I saw it time and time again. Riders who could scrape a knee at 80 miles per hour but wobbled like a baby giraffe doing a U-turn in a parking lot. Low-speed crashes might not be dramatic, but they're embarrassing, and worse, they reveal one major flaw: a lack of fine motor control. And if you don't have that dialed in when you're slow and upright, what makes you think it's magically going to appear when you're leaned over and things go sideways at speed? The throttle, clutch, rear brake. These aren't just tools. They're surgical instruments at low speed. Practicing tight figure eights, slow slaloms, and clutch control drills doesn't just make parking lots less terrifying, it makes your entire riding foundation rock solid. And here's the best part. Mastering slow speed actually gives you more confidence when the pace picks up because your hands know exactly how to speak to the bike.